Andrew are here, but mostly Disney is the name of the podcast here to play. Laugh along to what they say. So tune in, grab your mouse ears, let's all give a cheer for Disney. Times are here.
Hey guys, and welcome to the But Mostly Disney podcast. As always, I'm Tater here in Virginia Beach, and with me is my friend on the other end, Andrew from Charleston, South Carolina.
Good evening, everybody.
That was a little delayed response. Are you okay? Did I do that wrong?
Yeah, no, there's something going on with the internet here. I don't know. Everybody's dragging for some reason all of a sudden.
So I was just saying that Russian Christmas is tomorrow, says Paula. So I don't have to really worry about not getting my Christmas decorations down today. I appreciate that procrastination has a cosigner. So tonight we're going to talk about, what influences us, why Andrew and I come here most Tuesdays and I record all this video and post it up for strangers to look at. And with us is one of my favorite content creators. Do you know I've been saying Matthew Woolery the whole time? I mean, obviously we don't talk that much face to face, but if you'd have known, I've been pronouncing your last name wrong. But from Married to a Disney Addict. Welcome.
Yeah. Hi. Yeah, I'm excited to be here. I know we've been chatting a little bit about being on the show, and we got to get you on ours. And I know Andrew's been on ours before, which is awesome. Yeah. So I'm excited to be here. But this is different for me, right? Because we do the audio only stuff. So to be live is really cool. Get that feedback from people, and it's going to be a fun night.
It's a lot of fun. And now that I've done it this way, I don't think I'd want to do it any other way. Like, I don't think I'd want to just record it. I feel like when I record like YouTube videos, I'm too critical. I never like them. I don't want to go back and rewatch them. Like, I mean, when we talk about who we watch on YouTube, I can tell you that I do not watch my own videos ever. I never want to go back. I don't listen to my podcasts. I don't want to hear them at all. I hope you guys don't feel that way. But once they're published, they are gone. It's like Edna Mode says, I don't look back, darling, because it distracts from the now. So just keep swimming. I mean, how many Disney quotes can we, moving forward, we can go on forever. But Matthew, tell us quickly about your podcast. I think everybody knows who you are, but tell us about your podcast and what you guys do.
So it's my wife and I. We are Married to a Disney Addict. I was the one married to a Disney addict. I was never really a big fan. I'll say I was a fan of Disney to the extent like any kid is a fan of Disney, but not where I thought I'd have a podcast and I'd be going all the time and I'd be doing stuff like this. I met my wife. She slowly chipped away, and Married to a Disney Addict turned from me kind of poking fun of her to us both being married to a Disney addict. And I'm sure we're going to be talking about some of the influences, that were the topic of the evening that made me and her say, hey, let's jump into the podcast world. So that's kind of what we do. And very much similar to how you are, we always like to have guests on, which we call our Ohana. Andrew's been on the show, like I mentioned earlier. And, Sean, we're going to get you on soon. But it's a lot of fun. It's fun to talk Disney with other people who love it.
And you guys do a great job because you do like stuff online. Like, you really are creating an Ohana, like a true community, which is awesome. Like, I enjoy your fantasy football-esque stuff, and these polls, which is, I mean, you can post a question on almost any Disney group and get 500 responses. We love to talk about this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. But that community aspect is the main part, right? Like, right. I don't really care so much about we love the podcast, but the point isn't to have content. It's to share the content with people, for them to share it with us and to start that conversation like you're talking about.
So my wife was not a Disney person until she met me, but she really didn't get on to the internet stuff until Matt and Crystal came up with theirs, because she thought the title was great, because she's like, because I am married to a Disney addict. But slowly but surely, she's starting to follow. Like, she's the one that told me, we'll talk about Adam in a little bit. When Adam passed, the first thing in the morning, she's like, hey, let you know Adam the Woo passed away. And I was like, what? But so she's starting to, the turn has started.
So would she listen to a Disney podcast in the car by herself, or do you have to drag her?
Travel, I usually, she likes Jeremy and Rhonda, so I'll backlog those and then we'll listen on the way down. But she watches the stuff on the computer, and she's a couple of groups she's a part of now, so she's got her own little niche that she's got going on. And like if we're talking about a topic, I'll throw it off her and hey, what do you think about this? Or so yeah, she's it's funny. It's not funny. It's cool to watch somebody who wasn't one become one. So
interesting, and I think it's funny that, you know, I don't know why I think this. It's not misogynistic, but I would have thought that, Matthew, you were the one dragging. You would be the addict dragging your wife along, and it's exactly the opposite.
Oh, it is definitely the opposite. Like you say dragging, and there's photographs of her dragging me onto Figment, to dragging me onto, you know, some of the Small World and all that stuff. And now it's funny because it's me. You'll see me carrying my kids into the rides. I'm like, let's go. Like, we're going on Small World. We're going on this. And
do your kids love it? I mean, is it truly a family affair?
Oh, yeah. It definitely, like right now, Lincoln might be downstairs watching us because he was like, you're going to be on YouTube talking about Disney World. Like, he absolutely loves Disney. He comes on our podcast once. He wanted to start a Disney podcast called Raising Disney Addicts, and it was its own thing for 5 episodes. But then he was like, I'll just come on yours and take over. So now he snags, he'll hijack the Married to a Disney Addict podcast, and then we call them RDAs, where he's the driver of the conversation. He's all the time talking about like, hey, like I have an idea for a show. Let me do this. And going down there. And even Landry's 3 years old. And today he was like, Dad, are we going to go on the Disney boat? Are we going to go on the Disney boat? And I'm like, yeah, we're going to go. But like in summer, like we got to get to summer first. And
where are you guys? Where do y'all live? I'm sorry.
We're in New Jersey.
Okay.
We're up in New Jersey. Yeah. So we try to go down as often as we can, like at least once a year. For a while there, we were going 2 or 3 times a year, but Landry's not free anymore. So he's got
that was.
Yeah.
And Kyle's here. Hey, Kyle was on, well, not last week, last show, 2 weeks ago. We're working on it, buddy. I've got, again, my wife is a teacher and she's all in on this Disney stuff. I mean, she's a huge, frankly, inspiration if we're going to talk about what inspires us to do this stuff. But she's in for moving to Orlando or the area, so that at least we're closer, because we're in Virginia. So if I want to go to the parks, it's a 12-hour drive or a 2-hour flight. And I don't have unlimited funds, so you got to balance it out, right? But she loves going. She'll be going. Actually, I rearranged my trip for Festival of the Arts, so she can come. So we're gonna leave Friday after school because she's a teacher as well. Shoot down, get halfway there, check in Saturday, do Festival of Arts on Sunday, and come back on Monday because they have Monday off for. Sorry, she's calling right now as if she heard my name. I don't think she's listening live, but so we're on the way down there, but she's got some time left, and her mom is here, and I don't think we're going anywhere until either she comes with us or we have I don't know how to say that nicely, or until we can. So we may have some more time here in Virginia, but flights are cheap, and it seems to work out all right. And I don't. We kind of grew in this together. If we're doing like little origin stories, we actually went on a spring break. My wife. Our twins were 1. Our oldest was maybe 2, and she's like, "Get me out of this town. We have to go somewhere." And we ended up popping into Disney. I don't even think we rode any attractions. I think we literally just walked around, and it started a tradition forever. And now, she's super supportive of me going to Florida without her. I mean, there's some discussion, but in order to do what I want to do, I've got to be down there at some point in time. I'm excited that this time I get to go to something early, because that seems to drive, the videos a little better being first, because folks start looking around. And I like you. And so we might as well start off, if we're talking about who inspires us, and start with our buddy Lou Mongello, which is how, frankly, all 3 of us know each other. I went through a lot of podcasts, and I am a definitely choose the good person. So I'm not going to be negative and tell you all the things I don't like, right? Because I do have a list. Like I'm a flawed human being. But I went through so many podcasts, and I think Lou's showed up. If you're for some reason not familiar, the WDW podcast, high on the list, and I listened to him, and there were so many other ones that were negative, so negative. And I'm just like, yes, we know Disney does things we don't like. For instance, changing the lobby in the Polynesian Hotel, which I will never forgive them for. But aside from that, I think we make happy little mistakes, and some things are for me and some are not. But it was just like a constant barrage of complaining. And I get enough of that in my real life, right? I didn't want that in my listening pleasure. If I want to be depressed, I'll watch the news, right? So I listened to Lou almost exclusively. And then the other one I listened to for a while was Resort Loop. Like those, they were happy, upbeat guys. And I haven't listened in a long time because I don't have time. But Lou really, and he won't take credit for it, which is frustrating. But he's done something different, right? Like he has drawn people together that fit, right? Like his community is almost as perfect as it can be, in my opinion.
Lou, so I kind of have like the opposite. So Lou was I never listened to a podcast before. I forget why we even looked up, why me and Crystal we're in the car. We're like, let's listen to a podcast. Let's see what a podcast is. And we're like, well, what's the topic going to be? It's going to be Disney, right? So you type in Disney podcast and you just scroll. And like you mentioned, towards the top, like I didn't have to go very far. We see WDW radio, no context, have no idea what it is. I don't know what made me hit play on that one. Fate, whatever you want to call it, right? So we hit play, and it is the only Disney podcast that we really ever listened to and still listen to weekly on a regular basis because of all the things you just said about Lou, right? And I 100% agree. He won't take credit for it. He should, but he won't, because that's the kind of guy he is, right? It's all about his community and things like that. And it's just that positivity that he brings that is what you're looking for. I don't need the clickbait. I don't need the negative headline to try to make me like say, "Oh, there's a fight in Disney World." Like I don't need that. Right? I want the guy that's like there to share what we love about Disney. So, and Lou's that guy 100%.
Yeah, and I will say this is the incredible thing is he doesn't do any moderation in like his Facebook group. So like one of the first times I feel like I met him in person, I mentioned, and there was somebody who was just antagonizing. It was during COVID. And he was just mean, like just would leave mean, weird comments, and he just disappeared. And when I mentioned it to Lou, he's like, "Oh yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about." You know, and you're talking about what, 40,000 members, maybe? I don't know how many he has in there. It's a lot. And he knew exactly the one negative person, and the group just takes the oxygen out of the room so that it just stays choose the good, right? Which is his slogan. It's just, it's incredible. And he does the same thing with Momentum, which is his workshop for making your passion, your job, right? Which is what one of his things, like Chuck, or like Matthew was saying, I'm thinking of Chuck Woolery because Karen said something about it now. And since I mispronounced your name, now Chuck Woolery is in my head. You know, he's like, "I don't look at numbers." And I'm like, come on. I mean, that's easy for you to say because you have numbers, right? And for those of us struggling, I do kind of have to see where I am to make sure something's working or not working, or if one is blatantly bad. Except for the podcast. I have no idea what our podcast numbers. I don't look. And he is single-handedly responsible for this podcast existing because at Momentum, I was super social media focused, super YouTube focused. And he and his cronies there were like, "Oh, you should do a live podcast on YouTube. It'll push up your algorithm, you know, your other videos." And here I am. This is the most consistent thing we do, as inconsistently as I can do things. But But I mean, he is solely, it rests squarely on his shoulders. So if you hate this podcast, please send that to Lou Mongello at www.com, because that's where the hate mail should go.
So I found Lou. So from 2007 to 2010, I couldn't financially afford to go to Disney. And I was, it bothered me. I was going through a time in my life I couldn't go. And I was like, I got to find something to fill that void. And like Matthew, I just went to on Apple. I just got a iPod. I was like, I'm gonna figure out how to use this thing. So I just typed in Disney. First was golf, and I found a couple there, and I said Disney, and it was the first one that popped up. It had the nice blue logo with the microphone. I said, let me try this guy, and it was the first episode I listened to. I think it was something with the Haunted Mansion, but I remembered. I'm like, wait a minute, I know this guy. He's the Disney trivia guy. So I was like, okay, he's got a podcast now. I used to listen to trivia with him.
And that's the thing. Like, if I'm being completely candid about what I do worry because it is part-time and I don't have time, or I don't make time. So I don't have excuses. I get it. To really do the research and focus like I'd like to do. And so it leaves me without a differentiator. So a lot of times on the YouTube thing, I'm just another guy with a camera, wandering around Epcot, doing the same food reviews as everybody else. But then I'm like, I really enjoy it. Like, I could do model railroading. I love that, but I don't have good hands for making tiny little models, There are a lot of things that I could do as a hobby. Why not this, right? And not being in Orlando, my friends don't love Disney. My friends don't watch this podcast. They'll float by on Facebook and yell dork as they go by when they see that it's live. But I mean, and it's absolutely fine. Like, that was one of it's funny. That was one of the first YouTube pieces of advice I got, which was, this is your friends and family do not want to watch your videos. Please stop inviting them. Right. Like my friends aren't into Disney, which is fine, but I like sharing this stuff and I like talking about this stuff. And it's such a great outlet for at least an hour a week. I get to go on and invite somebody really cool on the show and talk about Disney for a couple of hours. And I mean, how cool is this? Tony is in Alaska. Like, I just think that's so crazy, right? And so she's looking for a Disney addict to support. Yes. That's the secret. If you figure that out, then you can write a book. Yeah, and that's the thing. In this world of AI, the other piece of advice that's going to be, and live video being one of the ways, AI can't do live video, right? Like, if you're watching my videos, you're watching me screw things up. In fact, I think it was Tony suggested, and I do, if you go to my merch shop, I think I screwed this up, which is kind of the theme for our visits. But it's a lot of fun, and you both. Andrew says he has it on his calendar, and Matthew, we need to get you some sick days, because you come home inspired by Lou, and last year he had an Imagineer and Gwendolyn Rogers from the Cake Bake Shop come in a room of 50 people and talk to us. It's just the coolest thing, and you leave that place feeling like you just got out of a church camp retreat. Like, people are. It's a business workshop that you leave with tears and hugs. I mean, it's so unusual. I mean, I think it's singularly unique, but it's incredible.
Yeah, I can only imagine what something like that would be like. Like, just talking to Lou, you get that sense just one-on-one, because that's how he is. He's super, like, that's the influential part, I think, for me and Crystal, is just how, like, genuine he is, and how much he always says, like, right, you're not fans, you're not followers, you're friends, right? You're family, you're like his clubhouse, his box people, if you were there long enough, right? Like, he wants to be there for you however he can, right? If you have a question, like, me and Crystal had no idea about podcasts, and we could send him an email about, like, hey, what mic should I get? And he would respond to it, say, hey, you could do this, or you could do this. Like, you should try this platform if you're editing. You should do this. I mean, we were very lucky enough that we just had our 100th episode a couple weeks ago.
I heard it was so cool. That's right. Yeah.
and we we wanted him for the 100th because we're like, if we could make it to 100 episodes without getting divorced or murdering each other, like a big part of our journey was Lou, right? Lou is the guy that made us go, maybe we could do a podcast, like maybe we could try this. And so to hit 100, we were like, we need to have Lou on, and he was like 100%. He goes, and like we were so like, Crystal says fangirling, fanboying. We were like freaking out that he was going to do it, and at the same time, he's like, it's just like an honor for me, like for me to be the guest on your 100th episode. He's like, that means like more to me than anything else. Like that's what I want, and that's the type of like influence that I think is what matters. Like I don't, like you mentioned earlier, I don't know how many people listen to the podcast, right? But I know the people who do listen to the podcast.
Right.
So like Karen's in the chat. I know Karen listens to Married to a Disney Addict, and she's been, she's a constant player in the DFDs, the fantasy draft things that you talk about. And Caleb, we're going to get Caleb on an episode, and, like it's not so much for me, like the influence, because you can look at it different ways, right? An influence can be trying to grab as many people, a wide net, or it can be that deep net, right? You're trying to get the quality, the community. I would rather have, 10 people who love Married to a Disney Addict and listen all the time and participate, and they want to do all this stuff, and we become friends, than 10,000 listeners who I'd never talked to. Because like, then that's just me speaking into a microphone and hoping somebody's listening on the other end. But to know Karen, to know our other friends, like we go on vacations and we meet up with them. We're hosting our first group cruise with people that are part of our community because we all just wanted to travel together, right? So it's not even like a group cruise. It's not like, oh, you're going to sail with Matt and Crystal. It's like a bunch of friends that are just saying, hey, we could all do this at the same time, so let's do it. And that's what Lou does. That's what the community is. That's what the clubhouse is, the nation. If you're not part of the WDW Radio Nation, you got to do that, because that's even more community, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Right.
It's so cool. And the next on my bucket list is definitely Momentum.
So like after I've been on Matt and Crystal's, we have a separate messenger on. I don't always respond, but I know throughout the day I'm gonna get 15 or 20 messages, and we're all talking about Disney, and I could be at work, and I'm like, I got to get back to work now. I can't, it's cool to have that throughout the day, because it just gives you something to do. And Sean and I'll text each other throughout the day and talking about Lou. I've reached out to him a couple times for not just things to do with my YouTube page, but actually for my job. Hey, I got a question about dealing with employees. Do you have 15 minutes to talk? And he'll say, hey, here's a Zoom link. We'll talk at 9:00. No, I can't do it. It's here. We're going to do it then. So when he says, if I can do anything for you, reach out, I'll do it. He means that. And that means a ton to me when he says that.
Yeah. I mean, he's not kidding. Like, I just can't believe he ever has any time to answer anything I ask him. Like, I'm always so floored, even if it's just Merry Christmas, the fact that he responds, it's just because for me to respond to everyone who leaves a comment is easy, right? Because it's such a small number. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I just mean that it's digestible. For him, I think I would break down in tears if I saw his inbox, right? Like, it's got to be just crammed, right? And on the whiteboard. But it's such a great community. I mean, Andrew was in there. We didn't know each other. He does have, and I recommend you join it, a paid group. And I pay $25 a month. I hope that's okay to say. There are a lot of rules about the internet I don't know. For instance, I shared a post one time on Instagram, and in the comments, somebody wrote, "Thanks for sharing my work." And I was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry, man." And he's like, No, seriously, please keep sharing it. He was thrilled, but I don't know. I mean, we're going to talk about Adam the Woo at some point in time tonight. And I didn't want to put it in the show title because I worry people will think I'm doing it to get views, right? Like, there is, obviously we all know that the internet it's not always the nicest place, right? And I've talked about this. My Facebook feed is joy, joy, joy. And I just heard somebody say that, you know, if you have a problem, it's because of you. You are the algorithm, right? If you go on Facebook and you type puppies and like 5 puppies pictures and then do rainbows and like 5 rainbow pictures, you're going to start getting puppies and rainbows, right? But if you stop and read all these horrible comments and you pause on things, because I can see like how long somebody looks at a post for a second, for 10 seconds, you know, clicks away real quickly, that kind of stuff, you know, you're going to get what you put out into the world. And Lou is one of those guys who puts nothing. I mean, he is truly not that I'm competition for him, but I mean, on paper it would be, right? And I think genuinely, if for some reason, you know, your podcast or mine surpassed his in numbers, he'd be thrilled, right? Oh, yeah. Like he can take credit for it and he should be thrilled, but I think he'd just be truly a rising tide raises all ships kind of guy. Like he's not competing with anyone. And I get it. It's easy to say that from the top, right? But I think he'd say it from the bottom as well. And I think he teaches us all that, which is pretty cool. Tony, I think Sled Dogs and Disney would be a great title for a podcast. They made a
Disney movie about sled dogs.
That's right. We need an Alaska pavilion. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we could do a whole podcast about this. I kind of wish he was going to pop in the chat so he could just blush, because he would hate this. He would hate us all saying all these nice things about him. But it truly, he's the reason I'm here tonight. And he's one of those things when I do feel like it's just me alone, right? You know, I mean, and that was the cool thing is I started doing this by myself. I did the first 2 episodes all alone and they were horrible and hard. And Andrew texted me, and before he could even get the text out, I'm like, yes, please join. Please be a co-host. Please come help. You know, and I've gone back and listened to some early episodes and it gets better and better, right? Like we've got a lot of growing to do. And
yeah, Lou says, don't listen to my first 2 episodes. He says it all the time. Skip the first 5, start at 10.
Right. Or listen to the first and make fun of us. It's worth it. It's a lot of fun.
It's hysterical. I think like everybody, even Lou, you know, like when I found Lou, I mean, it was like maybe 5-6 years ago. So he's already on episode 500 by the time I found him. So, and that was like the fascinating thing to me. Like I just hit play on the most recent one and then I'm like, oh, like what else does he have? And I'm like, oh, I've got like 2 years worth of content where I could listen to a podcast every day to catch up. And I did, right? I went back to 1. And if you say that to him, and just like you said about yours, and if you listen to ours, like you're like, oh no, like I can't listen to number 1 or 2. Like I'm surprised you kept going after that, but you know, you get better and it flows a little bit easier and things like that as time goes on. But even Lou is like, nah, he's like number 1. He's like, I'm surprised people still followed me after that.
And if his first ones are like 10 minutes, it's not even that long.
Right.
But it's real, right? And that's like that's a real Disney fan who's taken the dive in, who's got the butterflies, who's just like, I'm so excited to do this. I don't know what to do. It's just raw. And I think if you have a real passion for Disney, like we have, like Lou has, like some of the other people we'll talk about, that comes through no matter how much you stutter, how many ums you say, what your mic quality sounds like, it comes through. And that's what makes it a good thing, a good show, a good community.
And he will be the first to say like content is king, right? And his is, you're right, it's genuine. And let's not overlook the fact that the guy's incredibly smart. Like he really is. I mean, not everyone can be a lawyer, right? I mean, I did take the LSATs, and they're easier than than my GREs. But he's a smart guy, and I have a feeling he's not a sit around, you know, do nothing kind of guy. I mean, he's always got something going on. So he has a lot of talents to add to skills that he has to be able to do what he does. It's pretty amazing.
He's got that radio voice. He's got that voice.
He does have a good voice. But and again, and it's very genuine. And I imagine now most people start with the most current episode, or somebody recommends an interview or something he does. And then once you get to know him, you feel like you know him, right? Like you feel like, especially for me, because he and I we're I think almost the same age, if not exactly the same age. And so a lot of the jokes he makes I feel you, Lou. I mean, that was my high school, right? Like, he had that Jersey experience, so I didn't quite wear the Z Cavariccis and do some of the stuff he did, but I remember others who did. So all the movie references I get, I mean, I really just I get him, right? And so that just adds, you find that thread and it gets picked and pulled and it becomes part of you. So then when you go back to number one, after listening to 25 episodes and you want to go back and hear it all, you're like, oh, it's little Lou. Look how cute he is.
That's great. Little Lou.
Yeah. I mean, you got to figure, Paul is saying, he was on the boards doing trivia. I mean, he wrote a book. Do you know how hard it is to write a book? I don't even care if it's a good book.
Trivia book and then the interview book.
The interview book.
I've read it twice.
Talking about success, and I'm Karen, close your ears. But I think that the biggest measure of success for me, that when I felt like see, he's there and he's in Disneyland. He had to show up. You speak the devil's name and he appears.
It's like Beetlejuice.
That's right. It's exactly what happened. We said his name 3 times. Is that I got a card in the real world from someone in the chat when I was in the hospital. And I was like, holy cow. Like, I mean, do people even send mail anymore? Like at all, And to have someone reach out from inside the box, as Lou would say, and touch me in the real world, I'm going to cry. I'm like, I've made it. Like, this is it. I can go home now. Right. Like I field goal. It's good.
But that's just the actions of the choose the good and being positive. That person knew, I know who it is too, but, took the time out of their day to fill out a card to send it to you to say, hey, we're caring about you. And that's a byproduct of Lou.
It is. I mean, and of course, she comes from Lou's group as well. And like for you, Matthew, it's got to feel amazing that even 5 people would travel with. Like, I can barely get 3 other guys to play golf with me on a regular basis, much less to find some folks who would be willing to go out to sea with me. I mean, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah. We're super excited about it. I mean, of course there's us, we have family, we have friends from out, like our own personal friends that we had before the podcast. And then of course, people from the pod. Right. And like, these are people that Crystal texts on a daily basis and says hi to, or that we went out to our friend Megan. We were invited to her son's birthday party in Pennsylvania. So we drove to Pennsylvania and we went to his birthday party. And it's just the sense of community that is there is what really keeps us going. And it's the same thing with you guys. You see when I watch your show, I see the same people that are constantly like, we want to be part of this. And some of them are the same thing. Andrew Prince, Andrew and his mom are going on the cruise with us. Like, we're super excited to meet them in person. Like, we've talked to them through this, but we're going to get to like actually be with each other and in our favorite place, right? To experience that together like that. That's what takes it to the next level for, I think, for Lou, for you guys, for when we talked, about everybody else. It's from getting out from behind this and then actually being there with people in the place that you love. Like, you can't beat that. And I think that's what we all aspire to. Like, I saw Karen before. She's like, I wish I could go on the cruise. Karen, we'll set something else up and we'll find another way to get together. Like, that's what it's about, and we're just beyond excited to be able to do that. I mean, our bucket list is still to try to get on a WDW radio cruise. We want to go sail. We were this close one time, and then the Wish inauguration got pushed, and we couldn't go because we're stupid teachers and our schedule. We had it booked, but we went everything.
We went in August. They got pushed it. Y'all couldn't go in August.
We couldn't go because it was towards the end of August, and we start the end of August, so we couldn't miss the beginning of the school year.
I was on that cruise, and I guess our school year didn't start till the end of August because it we did it for my kids' graduation present. So we were supposed to go when everybody else was, and then they moved it. We got half off, which was great. And we'd kind of toyed with the idea of getting a longer cruise. And I was like, no, I want to do the WDW one. And I, it's funny you brought that up, because that cruise, I was very nervous. I don't know anything. I know all about parks. I don't know anything about cruising. So I was really concerned. And the cool thing was I wore a WDW shirt, to board, and I'm in the parking lot and just get somebody screaming. I've never met before in my life, right? But across the parking lot, here's my people, right? Like, you've already passed the test. You've already got the secret key. You're already in the door, and you're welcome from the moment you set on. And again, that's the kind of people, again, Lou, close your ears. That's the kind of people he draws in, right? Yeah. The kind of people who wouldn't do that. And doesn't mean there aren't some that are shy. We didn't hang out at every event on the cruise. We relaxed a lot. We were there with our family. But that's what he draws in, and that's the community. And the problem is there's not enough of it, right? Like, there's so much room for so much of this, because Wednesday nights and once a month was not enough YouTube and podcast for me.
Right.
Yeah. And it's exactly correct. I met Andrew Prince on that cruise. I gave him a sticker. We chatted for a little bit, and he and I talk frequently. He actually has, and please don't feel bad, he has my real phone number. Like, I don't give that out that often, right? But like, he and I text frequently because I miss a lot of Facebook messages. And I love Andrew because he'll give me real feedback. Like, if I post a video and it's not good, he'll tell me, hey man, that sucks. Change that, or the audio is bad, or the music could be better, or you should try this. It's really cool. So we go back and forth, and check out his YouTube channel, which is another one I watch, Accessible Adventures by Andrew. And not to completely dominate this with momentum, but this is Jeff C. and you're not. And Jeff C., I met him through Momentum. And not a bona fide Disney guy, but if you ever want to know something about AI or podcasting or technology, he's a genius. And I know you guys are in school on Wednesdays, but the other thing I watch religiously is 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time is content creator news. And now I'm going to say it wrong. I'm trying to give him a plug and I'm bad. But he has a guest on each week that if you've ever wanted to have a YouTube channel or do something, I learned so much in that hour, and he's another super, super genuine guy that I met through Lou. Paul Gowder is another one. If you ever want to do anything with email, that guy is just a wizard.
There's so much, and I know we're almost dominating the conversation with Lou, but he's kind of like the tree trunk where everything else kind of sprouts from, I think, for us. Like, even outside of like content creators, like just the people that you meet and that we could have on to talk with us, to do a show with us, to share content, like our travel agent, right? Who is Sue Passauer from MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. My wife,
Sue is the best.
Sue is the best. My wife is the Disney addict, and she was the kind that was like, do not touch my trip. She planned it was like, we were teasing fantasy football. She had like the big whiteboard on the wall, and she's like moving reservations in pieces, and it's color coordinated. And she's like, I plan everything. And we listening to Lou's show, and he's consistently promoting MEI, right? He's like, this is who I trust with my vacations. It's who I trust recommending to you. And he's like, it's free. Like, you're helping people. And I think it was during COVID, and Chris was like, well, let's try it. Right. So we just called MEI, and it was luck of the draw. And because I'm sure we would have gotten a great agent no matter who called us back, but it happened to be Sue. And Sue has now touched every single one of our family vacations. She has done my in-laws' vacations, my personal friends who go, they use them. My neighbors, I've recommended her to her. Like, she's a sponsor of our show. She's like she's on the episode. She's in the community. She's doing the cruise with us. Like, you wouldn't expect that from a travel agent, right? To where my wife, they're friends, they text and they send gifts to our kids. And like, but even when Lou is making like a partnership, it's still, he's like, I'm making these partnerships that mean something and follow the same thing that I want, right? It's still not a business partnership. It's we're friends. This is who I trust, and it's who I want other people to trust and get the benefit of. It's, even the people on his show, Lisa Donato Glassner, and I'm sure all, like, you can see her pictures behind me here.
Right.
They're all over my house. My wife has tons of these from Thousand Circles. Her candles, right? I'm sure all of us ordered candles as soon as she did her pop-up shop, but they came back, right? And just, it's amazing how many little things can sprout from this one influence, which is Lou. And I'm sure there's other communities that have something similar to that. Again, I'm not as well versed in many of them because I found Lou and we kind of stuck to that one. But that's kind of what these things are capable of doing, right? If you find a good group, it's not just the one thing. It's not just, I can listen to Lou on Monday morning on my radio, I can watch him on Wednesday night on the live, and that's it. It's all of this. And that's, I think, why they influence us so much in so many different ways.
No, and you are 100% right. And I hadn't even thought about this, and I should have put it on my list. But now look, I think Sue, from what I know of her, would be successful at anything she does. Like, I mean, I don't care if she was selling cars or real estate, or she could sell ice to Eskimos kind of thing. Like, she's genuine, she's tough, right? Like, I wouldn't mess with Sue. I think she gets the job done no matter what she's doing. But if you follow those branches up, you end up at Becky Menken. And up until December 31st, I was working for MEI, and I couldn't keep up. Like, I'm not embarrassed that they called me and they're like, hey, you're not really showing up to everything. Like, I think I booked close to $100,000 in sales. That's no small feat, right, for travel. And they're okay with me not working for them because I just didn't have time for the culture. Like, I wanted to. And Lori Oliveri is in the WW Clubhouse. Like, I don't think you can go wrong with MEI. Like, I don't think anybody there is bad. And we started, and I barely need a travel planner, right? Like, I mean, literally, I just say, hey, I'm going these dates, and they book me a hotel room, and then they make 10% and move on, like, for most time. But if I do have questions, if I need something, it just is in concert and runs parallel to Lou's group. And like you said, it's not a business relationship. It's still held together with a handshake, right? Which it's so far and few between where that means something anymore, right? Where your word is your bond. And if I shake someone's hand and say I'm going to do something, then I'm going to do it. And it's hard to find other folks like that.
And that's why I think MEI is so successful in what they do. And like Sue and these other people would probably be great at whatever they did, but this is what they do, right? It's like, they have a passion for Disney themselves. So that is, I think, what kind of drives their success and what comes across, and why you're not just getting a travel agent, you're essentially making a travel friend that might go with you. But even if they don't physically go with you, they're there at the beginning. If you have any problems during, they're there for you after. They want to know how everything went. Like, it's a friendship that builds. And that's an influence, I think, on what I do, on what you do, because it's a whole tribe, right? You have people doing all these different things around this one topic, and that inspires me every day, right? Like, my wife and I are teachers. This is not a business. We don't make money from doing this. It's fun. It's our passion, right? It's me and Crystal. Crystal calls it car talk. She goes, it's literally you and me sitting in the car talking about Disney, and we just, just put a microphone in front of us and let's grab a friend to talk with us. So it's totally, it's not, there's some content creators out there that are just that. They're making content, and that's all it is to them, right? And I think the most influential people for us, and I know I'm speaking for you, but I'm sure it's the same way, the ones for us are the ones that go beyond that. Sure, they're making content, but there's a purpose behind it other than to get people to click and for them to try to make some money. I don't, like, Crystal, we're not like, what was it, monetization? I don't even know,
Right.
where you make money from stuff. We don't even do that. We were asked, like, Facebook was like, hey, you want to monetize? And we're like, I don't know what that is. Like, leave me alone. Like, I don't know how that works. I don't need this as another job. I don't want money from it. It's just for fun. And that's what you see. And I know, like, you know, somebody like Lou, he's able to make what he loves, what he does, right? That's the whole idea of momentum. It's make your passion your reality, make it your job. Yeah, he can support his family through what he does and what he loves, but he does it in a way where that's almost secondary, right? It's not the main driver
Correct.
of what he's doing. That's the added bonus. It's kind of like what we get to give back to him for all the great stuff he gives to us. And I have no problem doing it. So I'm in the nation. I'm in the highest level you can be, because I want to do as much as I can with him. And I, you know, there's months where I'm like, I could use that, but I want this. Like, this is my, it's really my one, like, you know, treat myself kind of spoil thing, where I'm like, I'm going to do this because it supports the community, but it's also, it gives to me, like, it feeds my passion. So,
well, and I think what you're saying is 100% right. And maybe we should talk, you need to go to Momentum. To me, it's such a double-edged sword, because it would be embarrassing for me to put up like a Patreon, right? I mean, for one thing, because I don't have the kind of numbers. Like, we did a little group call as a test last month, because I felt bad I missed 2 weeks of podcast. So we did a little Zoom, and it was a blast, right?
It was fun.
I'm sure I will do it again. And I think we can have as many people as we want. So why charge for it? That being said, while money's not my goal, I do have a monetization goal. I'm just not willing to ask anybody for it, right? Like, I don't want to make it off the shoulders of anybody else. I'll figure it out in the background. And Lou's not apologetic about making money, right? Because the money will pay for better content, right? Like, because that's the thing too, is people are like, oh, well, you can do this, this, and this. And I'm like, no, I don't want to be a YouTuber. Like, I don't want to have a YouTube about my town, which is a great way to make money, frankly. I want to do Disney stuff. And if I never get past where I am now, I'm good, right? Like, I'm fine. My worst case scenario is that I created a really fun tax shelter, right? Like, it is a business. I do have an LLC, but I mean, and I do monetize Facebook and YouTube for all $40 a month, you know? But I have a real job that I make money doing. It's just, if I could let it feed itself, where I could go to, that's, if you want to know, if I'm really opening the doors here, I just want enough money to go to Disney once a month. I don't need to profit from it. I don't need to quit my job. I like what I do for a living. This is what I love, right? I would do this for free. I do love real estate, but I wouldn't do it for free, right? You're going to have to pay me to do it, even though I do enjoy it. But if it could feed itself so that I didn't have to dip into the kids' college funds every now and again, because creating Disney content is expensive. But the parachute, right, is that if we fall on hard times and I can't go to Disney, I can still do the podcast from home, right? Like, I can still research and read from here and have this community. And it's really cool. But I think the people that I enjoy, and again, I'm not going to mention any negative names, but I do have some thoughts. I feel like I've started to be able to tell, you can kind of see right away, especially after you've been baptized in Lou's waters, who's making money for doing it. And that was something Lou and my wife and I had dinner one night and talked. And I'm like, is so-and-so nice? Is so-and-so nice? And he wouldn't rat them out, but he's like, it can be so bad because everyone is jockeying for this camera angle. Everyone's trying to be in the front row, and they will step on you and elbow you to get to it, right? And maybe it's a little better content, but who cares if the camera's a little higher or the audio's not as good? You're still getting, the first day video or whatever it is, right? Tony, her dad, I think, if I'm wrong, Tony, tell me, but Tony found me through her dad watching my golf videos. and they liked them because I wasn't bragging about my swing, right? Like I do talk about travel and I like to recommend things and I love golf, but I'm terrible at it, right? But I just wanted everybody to see the Disney courses. If there were more courses, I could probably make a living doing just Disney golf, but there's just not enough to go around. And so it's that genuine connection, right? It's just something that, again, that thread, right? There was a common thread, we pulled it, and now Tony accused me of having a boys' night last week because we didn't go live, that we shunned the ladies and had that.
Yeah. So for me, when I get off work, my downtime is with my family, but my Disney family and my girls. So on Tuesdays, I leave work at 6. I get home, we eat dinner, and all right, Dad's got his podcast. And then when we get done, I go out and they question me about it, and we talk about things, and then my wife will be like, yeah, let's do it for a little bit. Y'all talked about this, and I get to share that with him. And then throughout the day, I don't know what I would do without Soundscapes, Lou, Matt, and Crystal, because I listen to all this stuff at work at my desk throughout the day. That makes the day go by. I'm getting my work done. I'm listening to something I like to talk about. And then for me, having my early infant YouTube channel, I can talk about golf, I can talk about Disney, and I can talk about cars, and that touches a lot of people. And one thing that Lou told me, he goes, you either do this because you like it or you're doing it because you want to make money. You got to figure out what you want to do.
Right.
I'm never going to make money at this. I'm doing it because I like it.
Yeah.
And it may be a 30-second movie about a little short that I did about coffee at Christmas time because we're talking about Joffrey's coffee. Or it may be 20 minutes of, hey, I've been working on my truck. Don't make this mistake that I made. Here's what I did. Or, we're going in February. We're going to spend 2 days in Orlando. One day on Sunday, we're going to go around Orlando and do things that aren't Disney. That's a lot of content to record right there. Then I got a week's worth of cruise stuff to record. And then we get back on Friday. We're doing 2 days at Disney. So I've got so much stuff to record and try to chop up and move around. And I'd have content for 3 months off a week's worth of recordings.
Yeah. Right.
But I do it because I like it, because I want to share it with my friends. And maybe that one person that goes on YouTube is like, wonder what it's like to stay at a beach club resort. My mind pops up. Cool. They gave me a like. I'd rather have more likes than anything.
Well, and that's
so that somebody saw it and enjoyed it.
It's funny you say that. So I before I started doing this, I would subscribe to YouTube channels and subscribe. And then I wanted to clear it out a little bit so I could see I needed a better organization. And then once you start doing YouTube, especially when the numbers are low, like mine, you start seeing when people unsubscribe and it hurts. You're like, what did I do? Why did you go away? So Caroline says she's coming out of the shadows here. Found it via WD radio and driving to Busch Gardens. Dude, we go to Busch Gardens. You should DM me. We could meet up there. Like we go all the time. We have seasons passes. I don't do as much Busch Gardens content as I should. We were at Christmastown, but that's like 45 minutes from me. So you'll have to let me know where you are. But I mean, she says it's been a tough year and you've been a bright spot. I mean, dude, how does that work? I mean, again, the internet gets so much hate and so much, it's dividing the country. It's doing this, it's doing this. And I do think that happens, but man, it's kind of my bright spot, right?
Yeah.
Right.
It's just,
if you go on the internet looking for political hatred or arguing, that's what you're going to find. If you go there and you're trying to find something positive or something good, that algorithm is going to build and you're going to have that. But it's also, what is it you're looking for? Are you looking to pick a fight because that's what you like to do? You want to be a keyboard bully?
You give what you get, right?
Prince and be nice to people and start a neighborhood online and build positive stuff. I use choose the good at work with my employees all the time. You got somebody in front of you, choose the good. You don't know that person can be having a bad day, but your interaction with them can make them feel 10 times better, and they can have a better day than when they walked in the door.
Well, and that's something else. Not to give away all of what Lou charges for at Momentum, but one of the things, and I feel like it's a little. I know he's not here; he's gone now, so now we can make fun of him. But a little name droppy. It's not. I'm kidding. He's the most humble guy you'll ever meet. In case you don't know him, this is sarcasm. I don't want to be, hey, Lou, Tater was saying you were a jerk. But you don't know who's listening. And he got to meet Bob Iger and Lou's, kind of talk about fangirling out, walking up, getting to say hello. And Bob's like, oh yeah, I listen to your show.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't see this if you're listening to the audio, but my mouth is just down. I mean, can you imagine if Bob Iger said, because you don't know, right? You don't, all the things I say to my kids, I drove them to school for 12 years. Every morning, picked them up every afternoon, drove them back and forth. I have speeches upon speeches of things I said, and they probably didn't listen to any of it. But one little drop of something, that they use in life with their friends or with college or whatever it is, you don't know who you're touching, right? You don't know who you're influencing. And that's the thing. Lou also says, he is truly an influencer. He has influenced me to do things, right? But influencer is a gift word. Right? Like I know it's semantics, but I much prefer content creator. I think that's fair. Right. But he is truly someone who influences people. Right. Yeah. And I just think he's pretty cool. But so it's been this has gone by so fast. And I try to, if you have a few more minutes, we'll run a little longer, but not too much longer. I promise. Yeah. Real quickly, who else do you watch on YouTube or listen to besides Lou?
I found
just going to be the Lou show, huh?
But I think the guy's name's Chris. I can't remember. We were walking through Casey's Corner, and this guy had this camera and another camera and a phone, and he's eating his lunch. I'm like, what is this guy doing? This is before I knew anything about YouTube. I knew about podcasts, but I didn't know about doing anything on YouTube. And I saw a shirt that said ear to ear magic. So I walked up to him and I introduced myself to him. I said, do you mind me asking what you're doing? He goes, I'll go live every day from my park. I live here. My wife and I have a travel agency together. We do pretty much anything you want to do. Cruises, Disney, Universal, whatever. But I go to the parks once a day with me and my son. And Mondays we go to Magic Kingdom. Tuesdays it's Hollywood Studios. Wednesdays it's usually Epcot. Occasionally he goes to horror nights and stuff like that. He'll pop it up live. So I kind of have watched him a little bit, but his stuff is very positive. They have a community, but there's a guy here in town that has the Disney Dads podcast. I've ran into him a couple of times. He's a Charleston guy. I've tried to listen to their podcasts, but I always go back to Lou and Jeremy. There's the two that I listen to the most. I try to listen to theirs, but like you say, not picking on them. But a couple episodes I listened to, they were bashing people. And I'm like, I'm not in for that.
Right.
Thanks. I'm out.
I mean, look.
That one guy, Chris from Ear to Ear, he's if you can check it out, he goes live every day. About 9:45.
And that's Ear to Ear Magic?
Ear to Ear Magic, yeah.
I've started watching because he was at, so Andrew Prince says he likes, Downey Live. We don't watch, and he travels the world by train. I've been watching a lot of train videos too, because we don't watch, we don't have TV anymore. We got rid of cable so long ago. So when we sit down and do stuff, I've watched the Outdoor Boys. That's a great, I'll tell you, crazy. And then I'll get back to Disney because again, we're running a little long. My oldest kid gave me Tasting History, and this guy is incredible. And he's so smart and so well researched. It almost hurts when I know, because I know how hard it is to make a video now. And I'm like, holy cow. But he basically will find like a letter in like 1218 from someone in a castle to one of the serfs who is coming to work in the castle on how to make black honey mead. And he will go out and find the ingredients, make this, then stop, tell you all about the history of mead and all these different things, and then come back and try what he's made. And he is fascinating. Tonight I watched what it was like to eat in Japan during World War II with food rations. Like it's incredible. And he's so smart. So that's been on our TV a lot. I think Caleb kind of summed up our home watching list, if I can go back to it. So he watches Chris from Ear to Ear, and then Tim Tracker, Adam the Woo, and is it Justin Scarred or Scared?
Scarred. I think it's Scarred.
Okay. So if you don't know, and we'll kind of wind down the show this way, Adam the Woo has been vlogging daily for like 20 years. Almost. I think he took a little time off last year and didn't do daily vlogs, but he literally vlogs every single day. He was in a punk band, played bass. Justin Scarred is a buddy of his. I think they might have been in a band together, or at least toured together.
The West Coast, yep.
Yeah. And Adam passed away recently. And I don't think anybody knows why. And I was feeling a little guilty for wanting to know why, but it's not just me. There's a lot of folks who want to know.
Justin had posted that it was natural causes.
Yeah.
He's tight with the family, so I believe what he would say.
I do as well. I was shocked. I've never met Adam. I looked for him every day. I was in the parks. Like, it was a bucket list of mine to high five him and thank him. I did see Tim Tracker one time briefly, and I just said thanks and then walked away. I don't know. He was filming. I felt weird, but I used to watch a lot of Tim's videos. I haven't lately. They've gotten, they're great to do family stuff. They do a lot of family stuff. And it's just not grabbing me at the moment. Like, nothing wrong. I still like Tim Tracker. I think he's a good vlogger. And he and Adam were great friends. But we watched him almost every day. And he has a huge catalog. So you could go back pretty far. And I found him because of his Disney content, which was great. Like, he had opinions, and he was also a very positive guy. Not that he didn't say when he thought Disney did something wrong. He wasn't an apologist. But he was just a lot of fun. And I think he had a talent for making really boring things exciting, or I'm just excited by boring things, like one of the two, right? But he might drive over to Tampa for a baseball game, and he was all over the place, right? It wasn't just Disney. He did Route 66. This past year, he'd done a bunch of international travel. He
just got back from
He went to Malta and saw the Popeye the movie set, which is still there. Mm-hmm. Like, I saw that in the theater. I liked that movie. And so it was fascinating. And there were some that I was like, I'm not into this, whatever. He did a lot of cool movie scenes, stuff. He would go to the Back to the Future stuff and go through there. He loved Halloween Horror Nights and horror. And that's where we do kind of divide a little bit. I don't like horror movies, but I'd still watch his videos. And it was so shocking out of nowhere, because my wife and I just watched his latest Christmas video in celebration. He went to Alaska, as Andrew and Prince is saying. And it's given me a lot to think about, because someone I've never met passed away, and I cried about it, right? Like, I'm truly sad for someone that I only knew on not even on TV, right? I mean, he was very famous in certain circles, I guess, but I was shocked at how much I'd been moved by this guy, right? Like, how much of a gift he was to me. And then I know I'm in the right circle to see this stuff, but how many people he touched on the internet? My whole feed was just Adam the Woo, Adam the Woo. I never got to meet him. Oh, I saw him one time. Here's a picture. We watch his videos every day. And Justin, who does great videos, he's got a crazy voice, so you do have to get used to that a little bit. I was kind of turned off at first, and then he really grew on me. But he said that he'd look through all the comments of what people were saying, and everyone said, oh, I didn't know him, and I didn't know him. And he's like, yeah, you did. You did know him, because his videos were exactly who he was, right? There was no polish. There was no pretension. There was no script. You were just watching an hour video every day of Adam the Woo's life, right? And you're traveling with him and getting to know who he was. And maybe he didn't know you, but that really made me feel a little less weird, honestly. you know?
Well, you're not weird because
Well, I am, but maybe not
I'd
for
get home
that, right?
Well, I'd get home from work and we'd eat dinner and I'd come to my office and I'd pop up YouTube and I'd find out one of my golf guys I watch all the time, one of my car guys, and then there was Adam. I always look for those 3 videos because I knew there was going to be one daily of those 3 guys. And then when my wife told me to pass, I kind of sat in bed that morning and I went, huh, another part of my life is gone. Because that was a part of my life. I would do that every day. And then if I was at work on a Saturday, I'd go back through and watch old Adam videos. So, and I would say at work, somebody go, what are you doing? I was like, go and get a piping hot beverage. I'll be back in a second.
Piping hot caffeinated beverage. So he had a couple sayings, Matthew. One was he would do a little intro and, we're going to go to celebration today. Join me. Shall you? And my favorite, and again, I thought about making a t-shirt. I can't remember if I said this live or said it before we started. I didn't want to put his name in my title of the show because I do feel like there are a lot of people who realize that if you mention his name right now, you're going to get clicks. Right.
Right.
And I don't want that. Right. I don't want to draw attention to it. And yet, how do you tell someone you're talking about it? I did tag him in my Facebook thing today, but I really this is my forum, right? Like I own my little, but mostly Disney space, and this is where I'm processing it, right? I have my wife and we've talked about it, and I haven't watched any of his videos since he passed because I just can't bring myself to do it. It feels too weird. I mean, on a smaller note, if I'm driving to Disney, I hate it when I'm caught up on Lou's podcasts, right? Because I want to listen to him on the way down. And for so many years, I had so many that I hadn't listened to. So every trip could be Lou up and back. And now it's like, okay, we're going in June. So I got to stop listening May 6th to make sure, I have enough. And then from May 6th till our trip, then I'm like pulling my hair out. What do I listen to? What do I do? And he has some true evergreen episodes that are great. You can go back and listen to again. And I've probably forgotten more Lou than I remember, Well,
it's just like I can tell myself right now when I get back to the park with Adam, when I go to Epcot and it comes by and I go, here comes the monorail. I'm going to say that in my head, just like in his voice.
That was mine.
We did it every time we saw a monorail.
Look, speaking of saying the devil's name, see, we talked about how great Sue was, and she shows up.
And she showed up. Well, so like she didn't know that Adam passed away, and
right.
You're kind of alluding to it. I didn't know Adam. I didn't know of Adam the Woo. I listen to Lou religiously. I listen to you guys. There's a few like Great British Mickey Waffle I love. There's the podcasts that I'll catch. I'm not as YouTube savvy as maybe we should be or would like to be or something like that. And then when I definitely saw on everything because we follow tons of Disney socials when Adam passed, and I was like, you could like as somebody who didn't know who he was, you could tell right away how much he meant to Disney people, and the first thing I thought was like, how do I not know who Adam the Who is? Like, how do I not Adam the Woo is? I like how do I not know? And while you guys are saying you haven't been able to bring yourself to watch one of his videos, it had the reverse effect on me because I was like, I need to know who Adam is. Yeah. So I watched a couple of the episodes, and very quickly I was like, wow, like I wish I had been watching Adam. I wish that I had heard about him prior to, to hear about somebody like that appears to have had such a positive impact on the community, to have put content out that I'm enjoying the little bit that I have seen, to find out about somebody like that because of their passing. You're like, it makes you feel like you missed out on a bunch, but now it's making me go, well, I'm not lucky that he's gone, but I can go back now and watch from the beginning as though I've never seen it before. It's going to be the first time the sayings you're saying sound funny. And as a Disney fan, I can connect it to what he's probably doing while he's saying it, but I've never heard him say it. Right. So I'm going to go back and watch and be like, oh yeah, like that's what Sean and Andrew were talking about. Like that's funny. I like that. And it's like, Andrew, like you said, to lose somebody that was part of your life, even though it's from us behind a screen, right?
Right.
It's going to have a big impact on many, many people. But as somebody who didn't know Adam, I hope that everybody can just continue to find joy in his content, because it doesn't have to be one off. You can still go watch him. That's right. That's
my first interaction with him was a Disney video, but it was him being banned from Disney World.
Right.
That was the first episode I ever watched of his.
Because he did.
He was banned from Disney World.
Yeah, I mean, he did some edgy stuff. I mean, look, if you'd known me in my 20s. See, I'm sorry, Andrew, I stepped on.
No, he just, that whole video was like, I made a huge mistake. I have to live with this. He had to get himself a lawyer it was a friend of his to help him out to get back into Disney. Like, he was still banned from Universal when he passed.
Yeah, I think he was hadn't got back into Universal. But I mean, it's kind of interesting, right, to watch someone grow up like that, like to even more so think somebody, right? He, if you knew me in my 20s, you would not have thought of me as a Disney fan, right? Bartending, even though I was living in Florida, staying up all night, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. It's funny how we wind down at some point in time, right, to what we really shave off the fat and end up who we really are. Because I think I've been a Disney guy since I was a kid. It's always been in there, but somehow Lou and Adam and Ordinary Adventures, like I didn't even get to mention those guys. I think they're great. They do awesome content. And they but if I look at like the top 20 Disney vloggers, because I did do a little research, don't tell anybody. I only know about half, and I've only watched maybe 25%. I mean, this is not a good place to try to break into YouTube, right? It is a very saturated market. However, with Adam passing away and with Lou's Momentum's group being really the focus of what we've talked about, do what you love, right? Go out and do it. Why are you waiting? Do it now. It may fail. Don't hurt yourself, right? Like we budget our money so that I don't spend truly the kids' college money on going to Disney to record a video. But I mean, go out and try something, right? That's all these people did. They showed up. They were consistent. I mean, Matthew's done he and his wife have done 100 podcast episodes. Do you know that puts you? Oh, I wish I should have written these numbers down. Most podcasts, I'll start that over. Most podcasts fail at like 7 episodes. And I think if you do over 20, you're in like the top 8% of podcasts globally. Like 92% are just gone, right? Or don't get downloaded or never get uploaded again. So the fact that your numbers are small or no one's listening or one person is listening. I mean, that was something else. Again, poor Lou, his ears must just be ringing. But, he said that, how many people do we have in the chat? I don't even look. But 17. So 17 people. Can you imagine if 17 people came to your house to listen to you talk?
Right.
Like, that's incredible. Right. You would be thrilled with that, right? I mean, that's amazing. And Jeff C., who is here and he's gone, who also does tons of really cool, content stuff. You need to go to Momentum. You need, or reach out to these people individually. But if you've got a dream, you should do it. You should go out, jump on it, fail miserably, screw things up, have some fun. Saturday Night Live. Oh, I know what Jeff was going to say. When I said it was a crowded area, it is. But then Jeff's like, well, how many Disney vloggers in your town do you know? I'm like, well, how many in your state? You might be the preeminent Virginia Disney vlogger. You might be the only one. You might be the best one. You might be the highest numbered one. You don't know. You don't know who's listening. Sue's in here and she said she's here all the time. I didn't know that, right? And by the way, MEI Travel is not a sponsor of the podcast. We just love them genuinely. They don't need to sponsor us. We're going to talk about how great they are all the time. And Sue in particular. And so, jump out there and do it before it's too late. None of us are getting younger. And if I'd have started this 20 years ago or realistically 8 years ago when I thought about it, I mean, how much farther along would I be now? But I sat for 6 years going, no, I can't do it. No, I can't figure, no one's going to listen. No, I don't know how. I don't know how to do this thing. I sat with the script today for an hour and 45 minutes, just banging my head on the keyboard. I'm finally going to have to call for help, right? Saturday Night Live doesn't go on because it's ready. It goes on because it's 11:30, right? And it's time for the show, and you jump out there. So I'm sorry this ran long. I really do try to keep them to an hour. Matthew, please tell everybody where they can find you.
So we're on Facebook and Instagram, Married to a Disney Addict. We have a website, marriedtoadisneyaddict.com. Honestly, we don't keep that up too much, but we do put some stuff on there from time to time. And the podcast is Married to a Disney Addict. We're on Apple and Spotify and I guess other ones. I don't really know how to check them. It's whatever my RSS feed throws it out to. That's where you can get it. But I've heard that it's basically everywhere you listen to podcasts.
I love it. And it really is fantastic. And you guys are weekly, correct?
Yeah, we try. Yeah.
Right. Like us.
Yeah. We usually take a little break around the holidays, stuff like that. But yeah, we're weekly. Yeah. Every is it Monday morning? Every Monday morning. Yeah. Every Monday morning we release.
Karen says we'd be at about 300, but I think honestly we'd be at about 225, depending on how it goes. Because we try as hard as possible to do it every week. But again, it's a passion project, right?
Yep.
And if you haven't seen Andrew's House for Christmas, it is available on Mouse Gears.
It is. Check it out. My wife does a big, you call it production. It takes her about a week to get it set up. She just loves Christmas. My birthday is Christmas, and her birthday is the day after. So,
wow.
Yeah, that's a hit to my credit card. And our anniversary's in November. But yeah, check that out. Doing some stuff with the truck this weekend. Taking to a buddy of mine's shop, going to document the work we're going to do there. Going to do a drive-through video with that as well, so that'll be up in a couple of days. Going down in February, so we'll have a bunch of content to pull there from a cruise on Royal Caribbean. What to do in Orlando when you're not at Disney. This is going to be a first for me because all I do is go to Disney. So follow me if you will. That'll be fun. And
fish out of water.
Fish out of water. Not going to the park, not going to the dark side of the land, but we're going to go downtown and maybe go to Icon Park and check that out and just kind of give that perspective of what to do when you're not at the park. But that's it.
Very cool. And then you can find Andrew and I and all our social media stuff at But Mostly Disney. I think if I've done nothing else, I own But Mostly Disney on the internet. We do have a newsletter. Please subscribe. You, as inconsistent as I am, don't worry. It really won't bug you too much. But I do put a little trivia contest in there. You can win a t-shirt or some stickers. We gave away Tim Foster's book in there. So that's pretty cool. And then almost every Tuesday night, we're here in the chat. So Matthew, thank you so much for being so generous with your time. I really appreciate it. And have a great time. We'll see you next week.
Good night.
See you later.
Our time is too short, it's over now. And we hate to say goodbye, but we'll be back next Tuesday night, or at least we sure will try.